Hello and good morning. Welcome, family, to the Chaos Weird Christian. I'm Derek, and I am here to read a chapter with you back at our cover to cover readings of the Bible. And we are still in Genesis, and chapter 14 now. And this is with the War of the Kings and God's promise to Abram. And it came about in the days of Abram, king of Shinar, Erech, king of Elasar, Shalmaneser, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goim, that they made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Gomorrah, and Shinab, king of Admah, and Shimber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. All these came as allies to the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they had served Shedorlaomer, Shedorlaomer, that's a hard one. But the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and defeated the Rephaim and the Eshtaroth Karnim and the Zuzim in Ham and in Emim, Neshava, Kirthaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. When they turned back and came into En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, is conquered with all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, who lived in Hazan Tamar, and the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, who came out, and they arrayed for battle against them in the valley of Siddim, against Shedorlaomer king Elam, and the Tidal king of Goim, and the Amphro king of Shinar, and Erech king of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and they fell into them. But those who survived fled to the hill country. Then they took the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their food supply, and departed. They also took Lot, Abram's nephew, and his possessions, and departed, for he was living in Sodom. Then a fugitive came and told Abram, the Hebrew. Now he was living by the oaks of the Mamre and the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol, and brother of Anar. These were allies with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he led out of his trained men, born in his house, 318, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants defeated them, and pursued as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. He brought back all the goods, and also brought back his relative Lot with his possessions, and also the women and the people. God's promise to Abram. Then, after his return from the defeat of Shedorlaomer and the kings who were brought with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet with him at the valley of Sheba, that is the king's valley. In Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Now he was the priest of God Most High. He blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. He gave him 10th of all. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give the people to me and take the goods for yourself." Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have sworn to the Lord God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take a thread or sandal, thong, or anything that is yours, for fear that you would say, 'I have made Abram rich.' I will take nothing except that the young men have eaten, and their share of the men who went with me. Aner, Eshcol, and Memra, let them take their share." Wow. This is something I'm not familiar with, and there you have it. So that was chapter 14 in Genesis. We'll be back for chapter 15, and Abram promised a son. Thank you, and God bless.